Dan's texted me if he wants. We want to do a sound check. We didn't have sound for the first 6 minutes.
He didn't have all the sound. Just blame him.
Well, it's, I don't know what happened. I'm not savvy, but I know if that thing is red, it's not recording. And I
Looks
think
great.
it looks good tonight.
Looks great.
You see the little blue light? Can't you see it?
It's not with your old eyes. So with your cataracts, you can see that.
Uh-huh.
Just trying to be helpful.
I talked to him, yeah. They're both, there's only two. They're good. They're fine. He's a fan. And then the other lady is
What's he doing?
Debbie Meyer's sister. She's good. I didn't send that.
Right.
I just said mine in 3 times, and I kept sending registered letters. I'm like, you kept forgetting to check the one box. Yeah, I'm like,
Ready, Dan? Deb, ready?
I felt about this.
Okay, folks, we'll call our meeting to order. It's 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April the 8th, 2025. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Meyersdale Borough Council. Let's rise for the flag ceremony and the opening prayer. Patty Shawless will give. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me? Dear Father, we thank you for everything that you do for us each and every day. We thank you for the sunshine today, even though it was cold, like it usually is for our Maple Festival. We thank you for everything. Father, be with us tonight as we conduct the business of your town and your community, and we thank you for everything. In Jesus' name we pray, and all God's children said, Amen.
Thank you, Patty. Olivia isn't going to be here tonight, our junior council representative. She has a sporting event. Right, Patty? In
Right.
Johnstown?
Wimber.
Wimber. And Jenny had indicated that she will not be here this evening. So with that in mind, the roll call, please, Patty.
Mr. Ackerman.
Here.
Mr. Baer.
Here.
Mr. Baker.
Here.
Mrs. Nagy. Here. Mr. Irwin.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Valentine.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Brian Ryber.
Thank you, Patty. We had one meeting since we last met, and it was on March the 11th. And I had gone through the minutes and read them carefully, and I couldn't find any mistakes or alterations or corrections, but what say the rest of you?
I saw one thing. On the very last page, it says goals for 2024. I think it just needs an updated date. Page 7.
Well, goals for 2024, the flood control riprap, that's all that we have listed on the agenda. I don't think anything else should be.
2025.
I see, gotcha. Gotcha. Patty will correct that. Anything else? Could we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Clarence and Ron. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous. And Terry, the finances, please.
All right, as of tonight in the general fund, we have a balance of $114,215.83. And we'll need approval for the bills tonight of $3,190.20. I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second. Okay, Ron seconds that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
I had a few questions on the finances. So in here, under the general fund, we had a Penelec bill in the amount of $5504.41. What in the world is that for?
Streetlights more likely.
Okay,
We have that every month.
Yeah.
Every month.
okay,
It is street light.
okay. And then I had another question. like, have we, I think our auditor does a wonderful job, but $8,300? I just wondered if we had gotten any other proposals in recent years for that, just to make sure that number's, in line with other service providers.
They've been doing the auditing, Patty, I think, since at least 2014.
Since I've been here.
Yeah.
3 years.
It's just a big number.
Well, I would put that on, if we want to move forward with this, would certainly put on the finance committee that we can discuss it at our next committee meeting in May. Do you want that added? Okay, would you, Patty, please put that on? Anything else for the finances? Then we move to the guests, and Robert Talmadge is here to address us. I met him, and we're excited about his project. He just bought the Morgan Tool Building. Would you come up here so you're on camera, Bob, and Rob, and give us a heads up, and we'll save time for questions.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
My name's Rob, and I'm a father of 3. I lived in Washington, D.C. area for 25 years, moved up to Corriganville in Allegheny County 3 years ago, and found myself in a position where I was going to need to invest in my property for about $3.7 million to put in a restaurant, a store, and a barracks, basically for my business, which is sustainable development. We design closed loop food systems. So we use aquaponics, permaculture, and I'll be glad to answer any questions on what those are if you have them. But when I was talking about the Morgan Tool Hotel and the wonderful town that it was in and the building, it had everything that we needed to be able to run our classes, learn about teaching people about farm to table food, and have a place to house them. And it ended up saving me $2.7 million. So that's why we ended up with the Morgan Tool. And the goal here is to run seminars, classes, and have guests come in during the colder months. And then during the warmer months, of course, would rely on the traffic coming through for the bike path and everything else we have here. So we're not running a dispensary. There is no strip club. I heard that one. We're just growing food, no drugs. And we're hoping to be a part of Meyersdale and what you guys have to offer. And that's really it. Questions?
Anybody have any questions? Now's the time to ask them. I was fortunate enough to have a tour last Monday. Connie and I went and saw the whole place, and I'm really impressed with, you're making a lot of changes, and we're excited on behalf of the council and the mayor. We'd like to welcome you to Meyersdale, and if there's anything we can help you with, Rob, just let us know. We'll do the best we can, because I know Rob and I both talked about Meyersdale and what a great town we think it is, and try to buy a house in town, when.
We're getting there. Right now, I'm hauling 2x4s up floor flights of stairs, so I'm a little busy right now. But I appreciate you guys having me here, and anybody would like to come by and see what we're doing, that'd be great. Right now, we're just basically cleaning up and tidying up, because there was a lot of trash left over from the previous owners.
So you heard it on camera, no dispensary. That rumor, this town loves its rumors.
No strip joint. When my wife heard that, she was like, "Where did this come from?" And I'm like, I don't think I'm that great a dancer.
It was a secret I was keeping from you.
Well, I think you coming here and explaining everything goes a great way to, get rid of those rumors that simply aren't true. Does anybody have any questions? Audience, council, here he is. Surely there had to be some questions you want to ask.
I'm your neighbor, Rob.
Nice to meet
Keep
you.
an eye on
And your
your
name is
Tom Smith.
Tom Smith. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think you met my wife.
Yes, yes.
Keep an eye on that. You keep an eye on my place.
That sounds good to me. Well, then I will sit down and Question?
Rob, thank you very much for
No
coming
problem.
as my guest. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you around town, and
Thank you for having
wish
me.
you're very welcome. Thank you. Tara Holliday is here with the insurance company.
That open dollar bill saved you.
I have one for you, hold on.
None for you, she said. You hear that?
She said she
That's not for you.
Oh.
That was nice of you, Mom.
Thank you.
I'm Tara from Muscular Insurance. I'm here to go over your policy. Do you want me to go over every building? Do you guys just want to look down the list and see if everything looks okay? It's up to you. Go down the list.
How about if we say maybe 10 minutes of a presentation, you could,
Okay,
if it goes under that, that would be, is that fair enough? And you do what you feel we should hear.
okay. So the building coverages are probably the most important. So here, the Office and Community Center, we have $3,932,959, contents of $130,104. Then you have the fence and playground equipment at $8,628. The monument, $62,099. On Grant Street, there's a pavilion, $93,589. Playground equipment, $64,783. Contents, $6,634. Then we have the park poles and lighting on Grant Street at $13,270. The dugouts and the baseball diamond at $3,982. Concession stand at $1,990. Contents of $663. Then we have the scoreboard at $16,588. 3 pavilions at $7,963. Another concession stand at $33,177. Contents of $2,603. And then we have street lights and poles, $242,853. Traffic light system, $132,708. Dale Street garage and storage, $1,902,842. Contents, $78,062. The aggregates building, $69,883. The gazebo's at $62,099. Those all look okay? Then you have general liability of $1 million. Cyber liability at $50,000. Auto liability at $1 million. And then we have a 2013 Ford Taurus, a 2018 Dodge Charger, a 2019 F-350, a 2021 F-350, and a 2023 Dodge Durango. Good? Okay. Then you have the Inland Marine Premier Pack. So you don't have to list out all your tools. You have $25,000 for any one item, up to $100,000 for any single occurrence. We do have some items listed out. We have a 1999 John Deere front end loader at $28,206, a Meyer spreader at $6,499, a Western plow at $7,635, a Case skid steer at $25,000, and a 2002 Case at $27,000. And you have your crime coverage. And then the PA public law at $50,000. And then you have a $2 million umbrella and $1 million public officials coverage. So you actually have $3 million general liability, $3 million auto liability, and $3 million public officials coverage. I know last year there was a question about shopping it to get a better price. I did go to another company, but with the loss history, they wouldn't even entertain it. So I did try. Does anybody have any questions?
The third line item, I don't know if it matters, but at this property, we say fence and playground equipment, and we've removed the playground equipment.
So it should just be fence, that 8,628.
Is that true? We moved the playground equipment that was salvageable down to the field.
Playground equipment at this building is on, we did keep part of the fence in the back.
So do you think you need that coverage? Yeah. Or do you want to just lower it there? The fence?
The only piece of fence we have is the piece between the parking lot and the grass back there. The only reason we left that up is so people wouldn't try to travel through there with tractors, cars.
So you just want me to remove that coverage altogether? And then where, the playground equipment is now where?
It's, we tried to salvage it, but it couldn't be salvaged, so it just got scrapped.
Okay, so we'll just remove 1, 2.
And then 345 Main Street, is that the property we
Yep,
sold?
we got rid of that one.
So that needs to go.
Which one?
8-1.
Okay, we just had liability on that one, so.
It's sold.
And the 618 and the 622, those buildings were going also.
It's just a vacant lot now.
It's just liability on there, so you should probably, if you still own it, you should keep that liability on there in case something happens there. Yeah, we don't have any building coverage.
You don't have the playground equipment for down here on the playground?
It's under 2-1, yeah.
It says pavilion and then playground equipment, 64,783.
So then, this $36,313, that's the total package for everything.
Correct.
And then what's this, do we pay it in 9 installments?
Yes.
We normally just pay it.
Just pay it all?
We probably put it on installments in case you needed it broken down, but if you pay it all, that's,
The past couple of years, they've just been paying it all.
Any other questions? Well, this policy, by the way, runs from May 1st to May 1st. Hearing no questions, could we have a motion to approve going forward with this for another year with Moss dollars?
I'll make that motion.
Tom and Clarence. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
thank you.
Okay, I'll pass this down to Patty. You can feel free to leave. You don't have to stay for the meeting. Unless you really want to.
I'm good.
Okay, Keith Hay, yard waste site. Come up to the podium, Keith, and let us have it.
So I think most of you know me, I'm Keith Hay. My wife and I have the houses up on Front Street. And so for the past 25 years, I've been working on fixing up the old Cover house. And as you have seen, I've been working on the Shoemaker house for many, many years. I'm a one-man job, so it's been taking a long time, but I'm getting there. The dump site that we have had down here for a long time, that's been really crucial for me. I like doing restoration. My wife likes gardening. And so I have all the time lots and lots of yard waste from my wife in the gardening. And then in the fall, with the leaves coming down from the trees on Salisbury Street that blow into my yard. So I understand the DEP has shut that site down. And so what I came tonight to do is just to simply ask if you would please consider finding an alternative site. I know that that site can't be used for the reasons that I was explained, and it makes sense. But I was hoping maybe we could find something else. I just would really be helpful to me, and I know to a lot of people. Now, I do know, and because having worked in Berlin most of my life, I know that they've had trouble with theirs as well. You always have people that take advantage. You always have people that bring in things they should not bring in and drop off things that shouldn't be dropped off. And I know that's a problem, and that's something that maybe, I have some thoughts about that as far as I've done security stuff for a long time, so I have some thoughts about that could help you if you want to. But I just came to ask if you would consider trying to find an alternative site, either somewhere here or somewhere, Summit Township or somewhere that's up. So, okay. You have any questions for me?
What would be the possibility of allowing, and again, actually, the municipal authority owns the land, not the borough. But if we would continue hypothetically to allow people to take their clippings down there, and then the borough would every so often just load it. Now, you can't burn. I think that was a big issue. Mark will correct me if I'm
It has to be
wrong.
permitted. They will not permit it in the flood zone. It cannot be that far, that close to our flood control project.
So even dumping is
Yeah.
Right,
inappropriate.
that's what I understood.
Yeah, so we'll have to, I guess, scratch our heads.
That's why I'd have to find an alternative location. So I just didn't know if anybody had given it any thought as to where there might be an alternative location where we could take some things to. Because otherwise I just don't know where to take things. Moss dollars are closing, so now there's no even like garbage dump to take things to. It's going to wind up. I hate to see people start hauling trash and garbage and dumping it along off of hillsides and banks, and you start to see that kind of thing when things like that happen. So I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. I know that other people thought about it as well, but I just thought I'd bring it to you and ask if you would consider it. So
Why don't we put that on the finance committee? Actually, I think, let's put it on the next meeting. I don't think we're gonna have our committee meetings this summer, but if you would put it on the regular May meeting, and we'll kind of everybody think about it. And if you come up with a suggestion, Keith, let us know.
sure.
I hadn't really thought about it too much,
Yeah.
but it is a problem I can see.
Yeah, it's really been helpful to me. It's been a real nice asset, considering, yeah, I appreciate it.
I know it's probably not the greatest idea, but for people that are serious like him, that actually have a need for dumping their clippings and their leaves, the new site, if you do find one and use one, it's as simple as if you could charge a fee for the people when they have a code. The gate has a code. If you have a security camera there, that code, someone as serious as you, they might pay $100 a year, $200 a year versus the people that want to just take and dump their trash down there. He has a code or you have a code to get in. Just an idea. That would probably stop some of the disturbance for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, even something as simple, it doesn't have to be even high-tech security cameras. Something as simple as a trail cam you could put up that, that if you find something's been dumped there illegally, you can go back and check and see who carried and brought it in, something like that. So, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Keith.
I'm gonna go home and watch the rest of the meeting with my wife. See you later.
Matt Broadwater, open access road to Sunset Lane.
My name is Matt Broad. This is my wife, Kayla Broadwater. I can pass these out. These pictures here are the new property stakes that are blocking my property to access it. These pictures here, if you want to go that way, are the alley road that leads to my property that's no longer being used. I'm not 100% sure what that lane was called, but you can enter it off Sherman Street or off 219 that runs up to my property, our property at Sunset Lane. We've been accessing our grandma's property for 25 years at our driveway. After we purchased it, after she passed, the neighbor, Brenda Kraus, decided she owns that in front of our property. So now we no longer can access our driveway to our property without crossing her property. So it kind of puts us in a little bit of a predicament. But that alley that is, I'm not sure if it was ever closed. it runs straight up to our property. So we're kind of here today to see if possibly we could look at getting it opened up or being able to use it to access our property. I don't know if it would take much just to start using it again, other than some shale or something like that.
Mark, can you help us out on this? Is there?
Yeah, I can't remember if that lane is a private or public lane, but I'll look it up.
So it was called Sunset Lane, and we supposedly have a 15-foot right-of-way to cross her property. But where it's at, it's like this, and it leans down towards all the runoff into the neighbor's fence. You'll see where my wife's car is parked, that white fence there. So we literally have to redesign a driveway like this to get into our property, and then turn half our yard into a driveway just to be able to turn around, so we're not on her property. We probably could have took this to court, grandfathered in over 25 years, but it's probably gonna run us $8,000 to do that, and I don't see it's that worth it for me right now for $8,000, but just trying to throw this option out there to see if we can be able to use that lane that's there, or alley.
We were up there before, Terry. Remember, it was for another issue, runoff or something.
We've been up there several times.
This was a while ago. Terry and I. Mark, would you be able to
Yep.
research that? And if you come back to the May meeting, we'll put you on the agenda if you wish. And then let's see what Mark says, if he has any, if it is an alley or not. I'm not sure if it's ever been opened or if it's closed. We'll have to research that and find out.
Do you want his cell number in case you have any questions for him?
Yeah, if you have it. I don't know if you want to give it on the video, if you just want to write it on the pad.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Really?
Man, thank you. Let him work on it for a month and we'll see what happens, okay?
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Back through that.
At least we'll have an answer, and then with any options that the borough would have.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And at that point, you'll have to decide how you want to move forward, depending on what he finds out.
Because if it is if Sunset Lane is a public road, I mean, it's not plowed. The sign's not there no more. So if she does own the whole property, I guess she'd be supposed to be maintaining that road. There was Sunset Lane there, but like I said, I don't think the borough plows it anymore or anything like that. And I don't know the reason why, that's,
Years ago, Sunset Lane, the borough owns up to the curb.
Okay.
And years ago, when I first started here, we used to plow that all the way back to Mrs. Miller's house. Well, Brenda's first husband did not like that. So there was an issue there and we quit plowing it. He said he would maintain it. And that's how it's been ever since.
Yeah, I was told I could use this driveway as long as me and my wife lived there. And then we started having people renovate the property, and they were coming there calling me saying there's a rope up now. So now we can't even enter your property. So then they would have to park on her property just to get to our property. So it's kind of put us at a standstill now with some other stuff that we need to get done at this property so we can move into it.
And Mrs. Miller lived up there for my goodness.
Yeah, her grandma's been there for over 25 years, and she told us it was never a problem because she didn't have a vehicle. So, but thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Okay, no other registered guests, public comment. 5 minutes, come up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Burkeville. Right now I'm just representing Maple Valley Barbecue Company. I wasn't going to say anything until I heard Patty's prayer, then I heard Robert's comments. And I just want to say how pleased everyone in this room should be with the people in this town and the surrounding communities. I say that because I am currently set up as a vendor out here for Maple Festival. And between the winds last night and this morning, I got totally wiped out. I got devastated, as Brian can attest to. And if it wouldn't have been for the people of this community, I would not be able to go on for the Maple Festival. once I published things on Facebook page, this community came out of the woodwork. I've had multiple people calling and offering tents. I've had businesses offering to give me room in their places to include water and electricity. I had a gentleman provide me with a trailer. That's how I'm set up right now. This community is amazing. And Rob, you made the right choice by coming here. And I say this because most people here don't even know who I am. I lived in Meyersdale until 1978 when we moved away. I just returned in 2022. And in that short period of time, this community has opened up their arms. And it's not just Meyersdale, it's Salisbury, it's Garrett, and it's Somerset County. Because we've been out food vending in multiple locations between Berlin and the White Horse and Pond Fay. I've had the Pond Fay they want to send some help out for me this morning as well. So again, be very proud of your community. Deb, everybody, a lot of people in this room called out and helped me out. And again, Brian's seen that damage this morning. It's not recovering from it. So what I'm going to attempt to do to show my gratitude back toward town, I'll get it published on Facebook when I can. We're going to give out some free sandwiches and everything to the local community. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. I know the weather's not great. This is going to be for the community. So we're going to be giving out some free sandwiches. If you haven't sampled our food, I'll give a little pitch for Maple Valley Barbecue Company. Come on out and enjoy our maple themed menu, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Public comment?
I was asked to make a couple announcements. Eric asked me to remind everybody about the crosswalk, which will be next Friday, Good Friday, April 18th, starting at 11 o'clock at the Grace Brethren Church. They will be escorted by the fire department. We do have the new business in town, the barber shop out on the south side, doing very well. They're very pleased. I got contacted by the chairman of the county commissioners yesterday. Denise and I talked a little bit. I appreciate Chuck is going to help. They're looking for another member of the Somerset County Parks and Rec Board. It's an advisory board to the county commissioners. If anybody's interested in the community, if you're watching the live stream, please let me know. Confluence and Rockwood have people on the board. Meyersdale has not. So I'm very pleased that the county commissioners have reached out to us. And we are a trail town and would like our input. And so those are my announcements.
Thank you, Karen. Public comment? Last chance saloon. Okay, public comment is now over. President's report, I have one tonight. Excuse me, I don't have one tonight. Mr. Mayor.
I have a few things here. I'm going to ask that council accepts the resignation of 3 police officers. I'm opening these now. I'll just read them quick. This letter is to inform of my resignation as OIC from the Meyersdale Borough Police Department. I have great respect for the mayor and council. I have made many friends of the town. As OIC at this time, it's time for me to move on, as my vision and expectations for the department does not coincide with the current operation of the department. Respectively, Tim Pritz. The next one, this letter is to inform of my resignation as patrol officer. I thank you for the opportunity to work at the borough. At this time, I see the department going in a different direction than it was in the past, and I feel it's my best interest to move on. I take pride in serving the community of Meyersdale. It is a great community, and I hope it continues to stay this way. Sincerely, Nick McKenzie. Meyersdale Borough Council, please accept this as my resignation as a Meyersdale police officer. I want to thank you for providing me the opportunity to serve Meyersdale Borough, but due to other obligations and a demanding schedule at my full-time job, it is difficult to provide the service that your community would expect from me. Again, thank you, Officer Kevin Busey. So I ask at this time that the council accept these 3 resignations, and I will give to Patty to put on file.
Is Tim resigning as OIC and patrolman?
He's resigning completely.
Okay, that's what I make sure.
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept your resignation.
And a second. Tom seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's unanimous.
And one other thing I have with that has just taken place, I'm going to ask the council to please consider at this time promoting Officer Mark Craig to OIC.
And just for clarification, the mayor actually does the appointment. The council has the ability to either affirm or decline.
I certainly would support that recommendation. Could we have a motion then the council does affirm the mayor's request for the OIC chairperson? Ron makes that motion, Tom seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's a unanimous vote.
That is all I have, Mr. President.
The computers, where are we on those for the car?
The computers were, there was a guy come up, he measured everything for the fitting of the police cars, took all that information back to Advantage Computer, I think is the name of it, and they should be installed in the next week or two.
There you have it.
That is 2 computers.
Just one thing I wanted to ask, we promote,
Officer Craig.
Greg, what's the increase for being OIC? Do you remember?
Tim, as lieutenant, was making 23.20, which was 50 cents more than the other part-timers, but that was lieutenant, so I don't know about officer in charge.
We never had a specified amount for the OIC.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't vote for one, it just, we've never had it.
50 cents doesn't seem much
Really?
additional to do all the responsibility.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Mayor?
No, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Junior counsel, Patty Shawless is going to give the report. She looks like she's back in high school.
Right. Well, my junior council representative is at a Wimber softball game, so, these are the April, March, some of March, and a little bit of May. So April 7th, they had an alcohol prevention assembly. The SAD Club, sponsored that. April 9th through the 13th, the PMEA State Festival will take place in the Poconos. April 10th, we at County Public Speaking. April 11th, our jazz band will be at Festival Park. April 12th, our band will be at the Maple Festival Parade. April 12th, also, the mobile food bank will be moving from the Meyersdale Church of the Brethren to the Meyersdale High School, since that won't work in the middle of town. April 15th, the FFA Regional Public Speaking Contest will be held. April 23rd, our challenge program will be held at 8th period at our high school. April 24th, the FFA Spring Skills Contest will be held. April 25th, the 10th grade field trip will be held at the Flight 93 Memorial. April 25th, also the history trip will go to Antietam. April 28th, the 9th grade courthouse tour group 2. April 28th, the SAD community service at the Somerset Humane Society. April 30th, the 9th grade courthouse tour group 3. April 30th, the FFA banquet will be held out here at the school. May 1st will be our National Honor Society induction at 1:30 p.m. May 2nd is the senior trip to Washington, D.C. May 3rd is the SAT from 8 to 12 out at the high school. And May 5th is our mock disaster at noon at the high school. We have around 29 students going to volunteer at Maple Festival Park between the Student Council, NHS, and FBLA. The Tech Ed and the FFA sent approximately 30 students to Festival Park to prepare for the festival on March 27th. The Student Council, National Honor Society, and FBLA sent approximately 34 students to the community to sweep streets and help businesses on March 27th. The school's been pretty busy. That's all I have.
Any questions for Patty?
Yes, Karen.
Thank you for bringing the students in and all the cleanup and coordination. It's a
Absolutely.
big help to the community.
They enjoy it.
They really do, so.
We enjoy having you.
Patty, the food box, that's just gonna be one time.
One time, Dr. Bradley approved them to go out to the high school. It won't work at the church. It'll be right in the middle of all the town. Yeah.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Kevin, any reports? Emergency management?
Really don't have any reports except for the flood control needs to sign the emergency operation plan.
Do you want us to do it right now and then you can take it with you? Who keeps it, us here, or do you keep that as part of your?
Keep a copy here. and
Say it.
You keep a copy here, but it's still gotta get running up through the chain to get it all approved.
Well, you know what, if you just lay it right there after the meeting, I'll be sure. Who has to sign it? The mayor? Myself? I can do it now. And it's done. We'll have extra time if you don't have a report.
Would you rather remind what you're signing?
Is the signature page in the back?
Page 4. Happy little line. It was nice of him.
What's today, the 8th?
Only of April.
And then you and Joel. Want a pen?
Tom said you didn't read that, you just signed your house.
I hope. Okay, Kevin, thank you for all you do. We really appreciate you doing a good job. So nothing else to offer then. Okay, Mr. Solicitor?
So I'll run down through the list. The judge signed over the rights to 326 Salisbury Street to the borough. I'm producing the deed for the judge to sign so that we can then take full control. We'll be holding that as conservator for the original landowner, which means if the property would sell for a greater amount than the total value of the cost, that money would be given back to the landowner. That's how the Blighted Property Act works. But everything went well with that hearing. And then as soon as we have the deed, Mr. Spokart said that we could then apply and move forward with them to get it torn down and then get the funding through the county. So we should be in good shape. The Vietnam Memorial last month was given over to the memorial with the deed and all those documents. The Little League / ball field property on Thomas Street is no longer in the possession of the borough. That is now owned by the municipal authority, which will then take the next steps. I have not received, I don't know if anybody else has, the proposal yet from Dar Construction. So I'll reach out to them. I'm not sure where they're at on that. Everything is signed and ready to go. We just need to get that actually finalized. The Grand Street Wall project, our state senator is still trying to find options and has been sending me different possibilities between grant and other possibilities. So as those come along, I will forward those to you. The High Street Bridge project, as you're probably aware, EADS has made the proposal of what CSX needs to do. We're waiting for their response. When I receive the response, I'll let you know. I sent out the letter for the unpaid zoning hearing as requested. The job descriptions, I contacted the union. The union has agreed through their representative to defer that until we do the contract negotiation. Last month, you approved the refuse contract to extend it for 3 years at the same rate. And I've contacted Attorney Flower, and he has said his client also agrees to that, so we should be good moving forward. With respect to the riprap, those that attended the meeting yesterday, I thought it was a positive meeting. The two projects, the project in which the borough has received a grant for is separate from the project in which the Army Corps is working in. And my understanding is the project the Army Corps is coordinating would have a 20% match. That match would then be taken care of by DEP. The grant that the borough has is a 25%, correct, match. So that grant, that 25% would come from the borough. My understanding is the Army Corps said that we can go ahead and move forward with the riprap project that is going to be partially funded by the borough. Any other, and oh, by the way, I do have, I didn't get a chance to email it out. I know you guys have just died waiting for it, but this is the revised social media policy, which is, let me go here, is much thinner than the prior one. But I think that you, and I'll email it out to you so you have it electronically.
So we probably, Mark, would ask all council members
Correct.
to read it, and then we'll discuss it at our May meeting.
Correct.
Where are we on the ATV signs? I'm worried about that.
I sent the maps just not long ago today, and I believe Brian, as soon as he has the maps, is gonna start putting them up. So we should hopefully be up before the,
Yeah, I can get the map off of Patty tomorrow.
yeah, they're real high tech, you'll love them.
I'll figure it out.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Street Foreman Brian.
Yes. Oh, my God. You don't want to just carry them guys. Well, I don't have a whole lot. Talked to Leroy Cook with the lights out here. He had some issues vehicle wise, some other things that come up. He wasn't able to get out to do anything as of yet. He said he kind of put him behind the 8 ball right now. Once he gets up and moving, he'll get these lights taken care of. He was kind of curious as to what we're going to do with the building lights. I didn't have an answer for that because we were going to look into other lighting, I'm assuming, for this building. I'm not sure. If
You mean the
that's-
outside light?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna try to get new.
So do you want him to do that, or were you gonna look into that, or?
I sent around pictures of several options and I heard from Tom and that was it.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. Okay, so he doesn't have to worry about that, okay. Street sweeper was in, kinda had some bad luck with that. The truck came in, he made 2 passes up, 2 passes down, and the truck broke down. So it was a whole day waiting for them to come get the truck. He did come in the next day, he gave us 4 hours, which I think he did a good job with the 4 hours that he was here. But other than that, I don't have anything else. That's pretty well about it, other than the festival keeping us busy, so.
You know, Brian, we were walking the dogs last night and Terry and I had discussed this storm drain or whatever it is we were gonna put in right there at Murphy's. And I think we really need to do something. It's a muddy mess there. I don't know if there'd be a chance, unless you did it today, maybe try to clean that area up at least for the weekend with the car shows. Because just look at it, it was pretty gunky.
At one point,
Last night.
there was a drain there. Do you remember that drain that was right there? And that was taken out for some reason. I don't know why, but it got paved over.
We even said maybe if we could work it, that we'd have some MMA help to get this done, you know, because we kind of promised Mr. Tressler we would do it, and we didn't get it done yet.
I wonder if it'd be possible to cut that back in. I would say it would be. Cut it open, see where that's at, and just open that back.
Okay, just something we don't have to discuss it tonight, but I just did notice that last night when we walked.
It does lay right there. Yeah. Right in that dip, right across.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Are we gonna try to get the Uptown Park mowed before the car show?
Weather permitting. I mean, if you want to mow it and kill the grass when it freezes, that's up to you guys.
I would use your own judgment. I haven't mowed yet. It would be nice to get it mowed, but the way the weather is it to be 20 degrees again tonight, or we past the real cold stuff?
No.
I mean, if you can get to it,
I can tell you here just real quick. This is Wednesday. It's supposed to be a low of 36. The nicer weather, you're not going to get anything nice until probably next week. Yeah, after the festival.
just do what you think on that, Brian.
Yeah, rain and snow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the lows are in the 30s.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get, Jeff, I had sent to you, are we gonna get John Miller to do the park cleanup?
I actually we had talked to, he was supposed to do it. We would notify him that he was gonna get it ready for us. I thought he did do some work.
I thought so too, but I don't know if he did or not.
I mean,
Do we
we
have a park?
contacted him and told him to do it, but maybe again, Karen, with the weather, he just hasn't had a chance. You know, most of these contractors, as far as landscaping individuals, I don't think they're out working yet.
Do we have a quote to approve so he can do it?
All I did was talk to Patty and we said we were gonna go ahead with it. And, did you contact him? This was a while ago after Karen sent the email around.
Yeah, and you said to contact him and tell him to go ahead and do it.
I thought it was the same price he did last year.
Yeah.
I thought that's what he told me. Yeah.
And that was donated last year by Somerset Trust.
Well, like I say, we can maybe reach out to him, but as far as we were hoping to have it done for the festival, but as I say, my understanding is these landscaping people haven't started up their businesses yet.
About a week ago.
Yes or no?
Who was the gentleman about a week ago? There was somebody in the park. Wasn't that about a week or two ago? I said about the guy up there.
I think it was about a week and a half ago.
Yeah,
You
he
said
was
there
up
was
there
someone up
cutting
there.
flowers and working on all those plants up there. I don't know who it was. Somebody with a dog.
That would have been maybe Greg Miller,
And then this guy looked pretty young to be him.
maybe one of his.
Might have been. I don't know. I could ask John tomorrow.
Why don't you check on that? But I know we had given him the green light to go ahead and maintain the park this year, so. Okay, let's move on. The municipal authority, I actually skipped that by mistake. Before we, anything, Brian, do you have anything to say? We have some vacancies. I'll read the letters in just a second.
Thank you for jointly pursuing that so that we can have some additional resources and representation on the board. Barry can attest, we've been pretty busy. We had a workshop the other week and a lot of projects on the horizon. So thank you, council, for working to fill vacancies.
I have to print it off there. Okay, anything else, Brian? Terry, anything? Okay, well then, there are currently 2 vacancies. The first vacancy, I guess going in chronological order, looks like it was Sandy, and Patty's gonna correct me if I misspeak. This term ends December 30th, or the 31st of 2026. So, am I right on that? And then the second term, Louis, it runs a year later till December of 2027, which means it would be filled in 2028. So after advertising and me calling countless people, at least a half a dozen, we do have 2 applicants here. So I'll read them and let's see where this goes. The first one was received on April the 3rd. I would like to submit my name for consideration for the vacant position on the Municipal Authority Board. I have lived in the borough for more than 7 years and have a more than passing interest in our community. I would love to get involved and serve the community in this capacity. And it's signed by Sarah B. Jones, 415 First Avenue, Meyersdale, Pennsylvania. And the second, and I would recommend her highly, by the way. The second one, to Meyersdale Borough, I, Roger Miller, this is the fireman Roger on Broadway, will accept one of the vacancies of the Water Authority, if chosen. And again, Roger Wayne Miller, 215 Broadway Street, Meyersdale, Pennsylvania, 15552. So my suggestion would, we have 2 applicants. These were the only 2, as far as I'm concerned, these are the only 2 we consider because the deadline was 1 p.m. on Monday. And Thursday or Friday, when Patty hadn't received anybody, I started calling, and these were the 2 people that had agreed to serve. And I would strongly urge council that we do accept these and vote on them tonight. So let's start with the term that Sandy, the first term is going to expire December 30th of 2026. That was the current Sandy Miller. So could we have a motion to appoint one of these individuals to that position? That would be 1 year less than Louis' term.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Which one? Either one.
Yeah, Roger Miller.
Okay, Roger, is there a second? Okay, Clarence seconded it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's unanimous, 100%. So that'll be Sandy Miller's term. And then the next one, could we have a motion to accept or to appoint our other applicant to the term which expires the end of 2027 to be appointed January 2028? So is there a motion for Sarah?
Make that motion.
Thank you, Ron, and a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. So there you go, Brian.
Thank you.
If I could be so humble as to suggest maybe you could have your secretary or you reach out to these individuals and hopefully they'll be able to attend your next meeting, which is next Tuesday night. And I'm sure you'll have an orientation and things you'll do for them. But I think you have two good applicants.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We will reach out prior to. So thank you again for your assistance.
Very good. Anything else from the MMA?
No. Aaron, do you have anything?
Barry, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Barry.
He's hiding back.
Okay, moving on. Meyersdale area merchants. Anything from that?
A couple updates. Again, Brian Berkebile, President of the Merchants Association. I'll give you some updates on some things we got going on. We did make a decision on the Maple City Farmers Market. What we decided was going to be every Thursday, June through September, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, prior to making that decision, we've seen all the discussions, we've seen the emails and the concerns, uptown versus downtown, morning versus evening, the day of the week. The biggest deciding factor is why we decided on Thursday was basically volunteers and the availability of the MAMA staff and officers. We need to be down there controlling things, making sure everything is getting set up. And Thursday is what worked out best for us at that time. There are competing farmers markets in the area. They're taking place on Wednesdays and Fridays, and they're going to be a much bigger draw than us, so we just don't want that competition. After we made this decision, we found out that Rockwood will no longer do a farmers market on Thursday. So it's going to be us. So if anyone was used to doing that, hopefully we're going to draw that crowd in, and hopefully we're going to draw some of those vendors in. Some of the other reasons we decided to do it at Fuller Park was basically space available. Under that large pavilion, we can fit 15 picnic tables, and then we can do an additional 15 picnic tables between the other three carports. So not that we're going to need tables for 30 vendors to begin with, but it gives us room for growth. And if we do exceed that capacity, we have playroom down there for people to set up tents, which is the norm. By us providing pavilions with hard tables, that's a big sell to a vendor because it's less stuff they have to bring and less stuff they have to set up. And as a vendor, I can attest to that, getting set up and having problems with tents during high winds is not always a good thing. We also have some limited electricity down there. Not that a lot of the vendors that we're seeing have it, but we have immediate access to that. We have a playground. We have concessions and we have a restroom down there. So those are all pretty big draws versus trying to do it on the streets where we got to get permits and close streets off and worry about parking for our current businesses and everything. So Fuller Park is where we're going to get that set up. I've already coordinated with, with Patty for scheduling. There is not an issue in Payless. I talked to you, the people who are doing the mules, they never contacted you.
5 o'clock.
Okay, so we will not have any kind of issue with competing interests down there. I talked briefly with Brian, and I'll make some further coordinations for help getting set up. There are still some things we're working through as far as parking and getting signs made up to on the day of the market, make sure all that's out there and known. That's all I have on the farmers market, unless you have any questions for me.
What was the time?
8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Thursday, June through September. Karen?
Just the caution of Stewart Transportation being down there, just
Yes.
being sure we're clear of that.
Yes, we have a plan. We're going to have some barricades put out. Chuck and I are going to be the ones running that to ground most of the time down there. We'll make sure that is not violated and we'll get people moved out.
And we have some money in a budget if you need it for
I
signage.
did see that now. That would be very helpful. Any other questions on the farmer's market? And again, after my morning, I had to hand jam my notes back here because I didn't have time to prepare them. So I'm going to ask Denise to remind me if I'm missing anything. But we are going to pursue the bikes around town. You've seen that pop up several times. It's been in the community for a while. It kind of died down. We're still building on it, and I think it's going to be a great attraction for the people who are coming into town. But we're going to get that going. Our annual golf outing, I don't have enough information on it right now, but we are pursuing that, and Chuck's going to be helping us out quite a bit on that. Not saying that you're the committee leader, I think, Chuck. Then we're going to have our annual Meyersdale Area Merchant Association meeting on June 30th. That's a Monday. They'll be at 6 o'clock at 6 p.m. at the Levi Dole Mansion. And more to follow on that. We are having a guest speaker from Skarta coming down and talking. And we just had a pretty good meeting with them, the Conservancy meeting. So hopefully we're going to see how that how the trouble is impacting the area and some of the things that are coming out of that. Denise, anything else?
The only other thing we'll be doing before that meeting is having a membership drive with
Yes.
that, but otherwise that pretty much covers what we've been working on.
So with the membership drive, something we're building toward. I don't know if you've seen, there's a program called Constant Contact. And it's something we're trying to do with Meyersdale Area Merchants Association. It's a contact-based system. So what it does is it will allow us to do a monthly or sometimes weekly e-commerce email. It'll blast out all these bulletins of every single thing that's going on. Mama will pay for it. We'll adjust the price for our members, and then that's going to give them free advertising. It's not limited to nonprofit or profit. It's for all organizations. So if you're a member of Mama, it's going to come at a very cheap price. You're going to be able to say, hey, here's the current special at my diner. Here's what we got going on during our tasting tour, the Maple Festival, Somerset County Fair. I think it's something that's going to be pretty good for all of us, and it's going to help increase our membership at Meyersdale Area Merchant Association. And I believe we do have someone back there hiding their head that I'm going to talk to about the Meyersdale Area Merchants Association and see if we can get him to come on board. Do you have any questions for me?
We're just thrilled that you're going to open up the farmer's market again. I think that's very important for the community. So wish you the best of luck. And
Thank you very much.
I think you picked a good time and a good location.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to ask you to excuse me because I got some work to do to get set up for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Anything else on Mama? Myers, the library, no one here to report in the library or anything there to be said. The Community Events Committee, Jenny's not here, but Clarence is the new chairperson. And maybe Jeff has something to say. So Clarence, why don't you start the Easter egg hunt?
Easter egg hunt is, I think we're all ready for it. We had a fundraiser. It was the first week of the festival. Went okay, could have been better, but we didn't see a lot of people either. So we'll try it this weekend. And the Mother and Sons dance at the Elks, I believe that's May 10th. So that's the other event.
Mother and son dance.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Jeff, do you have anything on this?
Yeah, it's on Madison 17th, May 10th at the Elks. And in June, there's a father and daughter's dance. I can't miss at the Elks one. I think that's June 14th.
Okay.
I'll include that in the next month, so the father and son.
Thank you, Clarence.
You're welcome.
Renaissance. Then we'll go to the standing committees, police and public safety. We covered some of this. Anything, Shane, on the Salisbury?
Still waiting on Solicitor Flowers.
Yeah, I haven't received them.
Yeah, we are still waiting on Salisbury solicitor.
Okay. Anything on personnel? I know some of the things that we had, we're gonna decide with the new negotiations next year. Finance, we have listed there the rental fees for the gym and pavilion. Anything to report on that? Refuse, is there anything we need to do tonight to actually officially vote for this
We
contract?
voted on that last month or not?
Voted on it, yes.
I thought we voted to negotiate.
I didn't know if there'd be a contract or something.
He hasn't said anything yet, so.
Except this.
Okay.
So there's no action at this point on that.
Let us keep it on.
Keep it on.
Yep.
Okay, streets and buildings, anything there? Flood control. We'll cover that maybe a little bit later.
Do you
Farmer-
want the rental fees for the gym and pavilion taken off then?
Well, no one said anything. I would take them off. I don't know why it was put on. But
Because they haven't been adjusted in like 20 years.
do you have a recommendation?
I think we should consider upping them. I mean, like to rent Tall Pines for 3 or 4 hours, is $750. I mean, what do we charge for the gym rental? $15 an hour?
$15 an hour. You charge $750, you're not gonna get anybody to rent it.
No, I'm not saying we're gonna do that. I'm just saying, can we raise them from 15 to 25 an hour? We're not requiring anybody now to provide liability insurance. I mean, the cost to maintain this building is enormous. I think everything's gone up. I mean, I think we ought to up our fees if we haven't upped them in 15 years.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll move on. Unfinished business, social media policy, we're going to discuss that big time next time. ADA restrooms and grant applications, comprehensive plan. Before we get into this, I'll just, Clarence, are we bothering you?
No, let me shut that off. I thought it was.
Okay, we had discussed this somewhat at our committee meetings. I'd urge you to watch the Thursday night meeting, April 3rd. And I know there's some division of opinions on things that we want to discuss. So I had suggested, and I think we had agreed, that I would like to call a special meeting. Patty, it won't be committee meetings as your president. And I think Karen and I had discussed, Dan, if you're available, it'll be Tuesday night, April the 22nd. We're going to meet with our engineer. 6:30, I thought, Karen, was the time we had discussed. So this will be a special meeting. And I would say, if it's okay with council members, that would be the only topic. We'll discuss anything related to hearing what the engineer has to say. I know different members here have differing opinions on how we should move forward, whether to utilize this space down here where the MMA was or not. And so I think if we all meet with our engineer, it would be very productive. And so that's probably, we may make a decision of something on Tuesday night, April 22nd. But that, I think everybody agreed that we do want to have a group meeting with our engineer. So that's all I have on that. Anything else to discuss under the ADA restrooms and grant applications? Karen, do you have anything else? So Dan, can you tape it for us? So tune in 2 weeks. Holiday decorations, Karen, any update on that?
That just hasn't been a solid plan the last couple of years, and I was just hoping we could get a little more organized. Somerset Trust has been really gracious. They bought bins for us this year. They also tore everything down. They did say when they took down the lights that we bought a year or so ago on the trees, they probably need replaced for the next season. But I just think, at the last minute, we couldn't find the bins, then we found the bins, then they bought bins, and I'm just hoping we're just more organized in the future on how we handle that.
Anything else? Changing to secure email and multi-point authorization. I know we had discussed this, since Mark and I had our ID me accounts whacked. That was fun. So, I don't know, we just, somebody speak to this.
So, and I had issues in the fall too, that the emails Patty was sending to me were bouncing back, so I had to change to a different email account as well. So I was hoping maybe we could engage Dan and Sean in assisting the borough with setting up a new email. And I know we have multi-point authentication at work. I think it's a necessity. I mean, somebody can get in and, potentially get access to our computers and accounts, and I would like to see if we could get Dan and Sean to assist with what we need to do and make that a priority and get a new secure email set up.
Dan, would you be willing to,
I can run it past Sean and see what his thoughts
Okay.
are and then get back to you guys.
okay, maybe we could keep that on the agenda then, Patty, and with the notation in the minutes that we did discuss it, and Dan's gonna check with Sean and see, okay. Dale Street Mirror, we thought we would wait, this was discussed, we've been talking about this for some time now. I know there used to be a mirror there out on their Meagers, and we had discussed this before, but there was some concern about whether you could put something like that on a Verizon pole.
You can't put it on a pole, period, without permission.
So I spent about an hour on the phone on that this morning and worked my way through and sent an email to the security and legal department at Verizon. And I asked them if they had specs on like what size the mirror could be, what height off the ground it could be, and all those things. So I'm hoping to hear back. I sent them a picture of the number, and it's at the corner of Dale and Colonial. So as soon as I hear back from somebody, I'll let you know. I
Keep it
did
on the list.
explain that we had a child on a scooter harmed and could have been seriously harmed at that corner as well. So I said that was leading council to want to do what we could to make that area a bit safer.
Next item then is the ball field off Thomas Street. We had some visitors here at our committee meetings on Thursday night from the Little League, and they were concerned. There's an old shed or shack that they would like to tear down, and Mark wasn't here. So I told them I would reach out to Mark the next day, which was Friday, and he assured me that the borough's out of this. So any further negotiations with the Little League will deal with the MMA, and Mark's the same solicitor, so he said they can mow and clean things up, but just don't tear anything down.
Not until
Yeah.
the MMA agrees, yep.
So I don't understand something. So our objective 2 years ago when we started talking about this was to get the ball field to whatever it's called now. We're calling it the Little League Field. And we lost sight of that somewhere, and properties were given to neighbor A and neighbor B. And then the borough gave property also now to the MMA. And we have 46 children signed up for, we'll call it Little League, T-ball, whatever, for this year. And because they've waited 2 years, I mean, where does it stand with the MMA?
The MMA will have to vote and do a subdivision plan to subdivide that property off their current property, because the property that was given by the borough to the MMA does not actually encompass the full field.
Right.
And everything. So I know that they've already voted on giving the Little League a lease in the interim so they can do what they need. The structure I got to make sure that the structure is where it's supposed to be. I'll put it that way because it didn't match the survey. But at one point during this whole negotiation, the structure was on a property that wasn't going to be given to the MMA. So I just want to make sure that the MMA votes on it. But I don't think anything has changed about the goal from the start. I just think there's one more step yet, and I think it'll be done.
Is there gonna be, like, with this building, if we vacated it, it goes back to the school, is my understanding?
Yeah, no, there'll be a
Will there be the same
reversionary clause because it is, even though they're gonna have to, first of all, the Little League itself is gonna have to have the right structure and organization for the MMA to be able to deed that property over. They have to be set up properly for that to occur because the other exchange was government to government. The two other properties were to resolve any kind of litigation issues. But once they're set up properly, and it should coincide with the MMA being able to subdivide it, we should be able to do that. And there will be a reversionary clause, and if they stop using it, it then reverts back. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a fortune in this between engineers and solicitors and it back and forth. And I spent a lot of time trying to coordinate this whole thing. And knowing what I know now, I would have never, ever, ever approved doing this. We should have left it the way it was. That's my opinion, but it's done now. So that's just my editorial comment. But anyway, it's, Brian, good luck with it. I hope it goes smoother for you than it did me.
No, I would say that on MMA's behalf, I mean, Sandy and Louis, they're not on board. They were very forward thinking as well. We wanted to move this as fast as we could. And originally when that seed was planted a couple of years ago, we thought it was going to be a relatively painless and quick process to do something good and the kids and the community enjoy it. And, but yeah, we're not holding it up on our ends. It's just the processes as identified by Mr. Valentine that we have to go through. But they're, Barry's here, he can speak differently, but on behalf of the board, we have no intentions and had no intentions on anything being held up on behalf of that project for this community.
Zoning ordinance review. The one individual who came to speak last month about zoning, I think her questions were answered by our first guest this evening. As far as zoning, how close can a bar or any kind of certain organizations be to a nursing daycare facility? So that was part of the concern, and thank you again for coming, Rod, and we appreciate it very much, your insight. But then we have the other situation about individuals wanting us to alter the zoning on Main Street up above the railroad track. And so I would probably say at this point, we're not prepared to discuss that or move forward on it. Right?
I would say not tonight, but I think it's something we need to look at.
Okay. Number 8, discontinue committee meetings for the summer months. We had a discussion Thursday night. Could I have a motion that we, unless something important occurs, we discontinue our committee meetings for May, June, July, and August to revisit things for September once fall gets here? Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Tom makes the motion, Clarence seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. So if we need something, we may just call a special meeting as opposed to getting together with these committee meetings. People are busy mowing yards and vacations and things like that. So we move to new business. Are there any announcements? Interest rates. Patty, there was one discussion, Karen brought it up about our contingency fund, if we could do any better. If you didn't have a chance to check on it.
I did.
She put out a
I
list.
gave you.
Actually, I have it here. And our contingency fund is with FNB?
FNB, yes.
And what's,
They're willing to roll it over into a money market at 3%.
Yeah, we were currently only earning 0.20%.
I would ask for a motion that we give Patty authorization to go ahead and roll that over, keeping the account as is in the same bank as a contingency fund, but we just shoot for the higher interest rate of 3%. Is there a motion?
Well, Meyersdale is 4.28. Why wouldn't you go with the highest?
Right.
It's a whole percentage.
Is that your motion?
We, sometime back, when I brought up about going out, Meyersdale wanted to give us 5.1%. We had all kind of uproar because we was gonna take money from Somerset Trust, but we was losing money because Meyersdale wanted to give 5.1%.
Well, I did the math, and I don't know how long that contingency fund's been there, but I think it's been there for a while. And if you take 50,000 at 10 years at 0.20%, which what we're getting now, it's $1,000 over 10 years. If you take $50,000 at, 3.2% was what I calculated over 10 years, it's $16,000. I mean, it adds up.
Yeah, but Karen, 5 years or so, the interest rates were basically nothing. You can't say we were gonna get 3 or 4% that whole time.
No, but we're
Back then, the interest rates were, you're lucky to get 1%, It's just recently that the interest rates have come up. But I would be in favor of trying to get a higher rate. Tom had suggested about moving it to a different bank. Let's have some discussion, a motion, and decide what council wants to do. I mean, I'll vote for whatever.
I'll make the motion, we go for the highest interest rate.
I'll second the Meyersdale at 4.28.
So that's for the contingency fund. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Patty, I guess we'll just have to see about, transferring. If you need me to sign anything or assist with this, just let me know. Or Terry, we'll probably both have to sign.
I have a question. So how much are we earning on our main money market right now? Isn't it only
Last
3
month was
something?
Like 3.something, 3.2.
That's what I was thinking. So Ameriserve's a whole nother point higher. So,
Yeah, the general fund money market up at Somerset Trust is 3.042.
so can we negotiate that, give them a call and see if they're willing to do any better?
Well, I thought the plan was that we wanted to keep the preponderance of the money at Somerset Trust
That's
because of
fine.
all the good things that they do for us. Now, if Patty wants to call and see if they could help us out a little bit,
Let me know that that's not what they gave me on that paper. Their money market, you needed 50,000, and the interest rate was 0.8. Or that was First People, sorry. 2.62. That's what the girl told me.
Was that Katie?
No, it was just a girl that I got to talk to up here.
Maybe if we can talk to Katie.
You can always ask.
Well, if you put them, of course, never mind. We wouldn't want to put it in a CD because then we couldn't have access to it.
Yeah.
That has a higher rate, so. Well, I guess the motion was we go ahead and move the contingency money to, was it First People's? Ameriserve. Let's at least get that moving, and then maybe we can discuss the Somerset Trust Fund next month, if that's okay with council, to move things along a little bit here. Zoning ordinance review. Patty, I would take that off one point on the agenda. Maybe take it off new business and leave it under unfinished business. We have that on twice.
Yeah.
Yard waste, is that on somewhere else?
It was on earlier as the guest.
So that could go to old business maybe.
The yard waste thing might not be a bad idea to reach out to the county. In the past, they have discussed doing, and I know the current commissioners wouldn't be aware of this, but they had discussed doing a county, whether it be a composting or yard waste collection. I know there's other communities that are struggling with the same thing. It might not be a bad idea to reach out.
Karen, did you want to add anything to the Rip Rap project? We had a meeting via telephone yesterday. I'll yield to you or.
Yeah. Like I say, it's really exciting that we got a grant. And for the riprap, I mean, I talked to Kevin after the meeting, and he said, I said, so how much? I said, we got a lower grant. So we applied basically for 300,000 of a $400,000 project. And we agreed we only had to match 15%, but we have 75,000 that sat in the fund for a long time to do this riprap project. And we decided it ups our chances of getting a grant if you do a higher match. And I asked him, I said, is the 25% going to be based on we got $225,000, or is it still going to be, you know, the $400,000 project that we have? And he basically, my understanding was, you know, whatever we can afford to do. You know, they can stop at any point. We clearly have to pay 25% of whatever that is. But I think it's really exciting that the federal government under the Army Corps is willing to see the storm damage that Terry's worked so hard on. Met with them a lot, that they're willing to do that as a separate project. Because when I talked to Steve the other week at Terry's suggestion, he didn't know if, since the projects were so close, if federal money could be used in addition to the state grant that we got through DCED. But since we separated the projects out enough, you know, they're going to take that. We're going to get a lot of flood control work done for not a lot of money. So it's not going to come out of taxpayers' pockets. So I'm really excited that we're able to tackle this. And the goal is the Army Corps, it's going to take them a while to get all their ducks in a row. But we're really hoping in our driest month, which should be July, that we can get at least the riprap all done. So very exciting.
Terry and I went down there. It had been so long since I had seen it after the meeting. And how many council members have been down there recently and know what's going on? Were you?
Not recently.
Tom?
Yeah, Chrissy was right there.
Okay. On the lower end. Well, anyways, we ought to set up a meeting sometime, just anybody that's interested. Terry, we had some questions about the riprap, exactly what needed to be done while we were down there. But anyway, I just want to let you know we went down, and it's interesting, the whole makeup of the holding pond and everything down there. So we'll see how this all works out. Anything else on that? DocuSign, Karen had thought about maybe instituting the DocuSign. This was discussed at the committee meeting. Watch it if you have any other question. We had talked to Danny Stein, and he said he would check with Patty and see if he would be able to help us out, help Patty out to get this on the computer. So we're going to maybe discuss that next month and see what happens. The Rural Community Faculties Facilities Grant Funding, that would kind of went to a dead end on Thursday night. So is there anything new to report on that, Patty?
No, I was just supposed to send it back out to you, so I did.
I didn't have a chance to look at it. So
Is that something you're going to pursue for some funding to remodel this building?
I'm just hearing about it right now, and we certainly can if you wish. I mean, are we going to apply for the $2 million grant that we applied for last time and were turned down? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of funding out there. What does council want to do? Well, let's take a month and review that, and we'll come back again and keep it on the list. Maybe that could be moved to old business. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. If you want to do that project this summer that you have the grant for the riprap, we probably need to give Kevin authorization to start moving forward, whether it be the bid package or whether it be what he would estimate amounts would be, so that we can get a bid package. But that needs to get rolling because it's going to take him a little bit of time to get together, to get it advertised and to get it out there to enough vendors, to meet that summer deadline.
Well, and like I say, we have to watch our figures on this. I had given this report before. The project was, Kevin projected $412,095. We requested $304,901, and we got a grant for $225,500. So assuming this project, we go the full Monty with it, that's going to cost the borough $186,595 out of our treasury. Now, do we have that? Do we want to spend all that on this project? That's a lot of money.
Well, my understanding is if you would take the grant amount and the total project would have to include the 25% of what the borough is willing to pay, you can use that grant amount plus the 25 to make a basis if you want to stick with that percentage.
Correct. So that's what we have to figure out, that we have to have a budget, a figure that we don't want to go over. Correct. But those are the figures that I think we need to keep in mind, that we don't get too much involved in this. Okay, anything else? The goals for 2025, we discussed the riprap. We do not need an executive session thank heavens. So what we'll do is go around the table one more time and see if anybody has any final closing thoughts or comments. Let's start with the mayor tonight.
I am good, Mr. President. I'm not.
Karen, any final thoughts, sir? Mr. Solicitor?
Nope.
Nothing here, Ron?
No.
Tom?
No.
Do it. Now's the time. Clarence? Patty?
I have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Holiday decorations, the lights. We ordered the ones that we got the grant for, the $7,500. And then 3 individuals are buying individual ones for up in the park.
Very nice.
And they've been ordered also.
I'm just gonna say this, with the totes, the bolts.
Speak up a little bit. So Brian has a question. Where are we going to store, what, the new lights?
The new lights.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I'm asking. With the Christmas lights and stuff, with the totes, we found the totes, but this happened with the Christmas trees. The bolts disappeared. I busted my butt. I got the bolts. So this year, this has to be figured out where this stuff's gonna be put. It's not gonna be touched by 25 people. One person's gonna maintain it and be done with it. Because there's too much confusion. Stuff gets moved, nobody knows where it goes, and it always seems to come back on me. I'm not doing that no more.
So you need a certain secure location.
Something. I'm not doing this, well, you couldn't find this, and when I bust my butt to find this stuff, I got the bolts. It took me 2 days to get the bolts. The totes we found, they wanted them up there by 9 o'clock, we had them up there 8:15. So we're gonna have to figure it out.
Anything else? Okay, it is 8:32. Could we have a motion to adjourn? Terry makes the motion and Ron seconds it. Thank you, everybody. Good night, good luck, and we'll see you soon.